to have a nice big bedroom and live on a street with sidewalks and other kids?
No,
Oliver said predictably.
I like it here.
They're living in what had once been the gardener's cottage on a grand Hudson River estate out on Battlefield Road. The grounds are lovely but isolated, and they've long since outgrown the tiny rental space. Still, are they really prepared to go from dollhouse to mansion?
There are 14 rooms, Linda waxes on, including the third-floor ballroom, observatory, and servants' quarters. Over 3,500 square feet of living space. Although I have to check the listing sheet, so don't quote me on it.
That, Annabelle has noticed, is one of her favorite catchphrases. Don't quote me on it. Is she saying it because you're a reporter? She'd asked Trib after their first outing with Linda. Does she think you're working on an article that's going to blow the lid off? I don't know, sump pump function? He laughed. That's headline fodder if I ever heard it. Linda starts to pull the Lexus into the rutted driveway. After a few bumps, she thinks better of it and backs out onto the street. Let's start out front so that we can get the full curb appeal, shall we? They shall. Would you mind handing me that file folder on the floor back there, Charles? Linda asks Trib, whose lanky form is folded into the seat behind her. He'd been born Charles Bingham IV, but as one of several Charlies in kindergarten, was rechristened courtesy of his family's longtime ownership of the Mundys Landinga Tribune. The childhood nickname stuck with him and proved prophetic. He took over as editor and publisher after his dad retired a decade ago. But Linda wouldn't know that. She's relatively new in town, having arrived sometime in the last decade. Nor would she remember the era when the grand homes in the Heights had fallen into shabby disrepair and shuttered 19th century storefronts lined the common. She'd missed the dawning Renaissance as they reopened one by one to form the bustling business district that exists today. Let's see. I was wrong, she says, consulting the file Trib passes to the front seat. The house is only 3,300 square feet. Can we quote you on it? Annabelle wants to ask. Can't imagine what it cost to heat this place last winter, Trib comments, with all those below-zero days we had. You'll see here that there's a fairly new furnace. Linda hands them each a sheet of paper. Much more energy efficient than you'll find in most old houses in the neighborhood. Annabelle holds the paper at arm's length, courtesy of advancing far-sightedness, and looks over the list of specs. The new furnace was installed about 15 years ago, around the turn of this century. The wiring and plumbing most likely date to the turn of the last one. Oh, and did I mention that this is the only privately owned indoor pool in town? She did, several times. Some potential buyers might view that as a burden, but Linda is well aware that it's a luxury for Annabelle, an avid swimmer. Still, the house lacks plenty of key items on her wish list. There's a ramshackle detached garage instead of the two-car garage she and Trib covet. There is no master suite. The lot is undersized like many in this historic neighborhood. You're never going to find exactly what you want, Linda has been reminding her and Trib from day one. You have to compromise. They want a home that's not too big, not too small, not too old, not too new, not too expensive, not a rock-bottom fixer-upper. Goldilocks syndrome. Another of Linda's catchphrases. This house may be too old and too big, but it isn't too expensive, despite being located in the Heights, a sloping tree-lined enclave adjacent to the village common. Its owner, Augusta Purcell, died over a year ago, reportedly in the same room where she'd been born back in 1910. Her sole heir, her nephew Lester, could have sold it to the Historical Society for well above market value, but he refused to entertain a long-standing preemptive offer from the curator, Ora Abrams. I'm not going to cash in on a tragedy like everyone else around here, he grumbled, adamantly opposed to having his ancestral home exploited for its role in the notorious unsolved Sleeping Beauty case. From late June through mid-July,